think everyone's here, so let's get started. Thank you all so much for taking time today to spend a little while with me. We'll probably be about a half hour or so. I'm going to share a lot of information. So, it's going to feel like a lot of information. What we're going to do is we're going to go through some different ways to get involved with CFMA, what's involved with those things, talk a little bit about that. And then afterwards, I will send you all a link if any of you decide that you want to get involved further or volunteer for something. I'll send you a link that sort of mirrors the presentation, so that way you can put anything in through there. We are not too large of a group today, so if anyone has a question, feel free to take yourself off mute and just ask. If you do chat, I may not see it right away because of the screen share. So if you do anything in chat, I'll get to it when I have the opportunity, but I may not see that. But again, we're a group of 20 or so, so just feel free to take yourself off mute if you have any questions. So let's get started. So first, let's talk about why get involved. Getting involved, what is, kind of, how does that help you? What's in it for you? So, one of the, in preparing for this, took a look at some resources and searched this, and I came up with this list of 5 from a site on the internet. Number 1, it looks good on a resume. So I think that's a funny thing, getting involved more in CFMA, whether it be on a committee or as a speaker or as a presenter, that, in effect does really look good on your resume. So it just gives you a wider reach, some broader skills. So it does look good on a resume. Gives you the opportunity to meet some new people. Again, whether it be serving on a committee, so you get to meet some fellow folks in the industry on a committee, or, being a presenter, having a co-presenter, meeting some people that, take a course, all good ways to meet new people. Helping to determine career goals. I've had some members over the years tell me that they've used their leadership at their chapter and, in CFMA committees, sort of to figure out how to lead committees and things at work. So it's sort of a great proving ground for those things. So it really can help career-wise there. Helping to define and develop and refine new skills. I think, again, taking a look at whether it be you want to get involved in speaking and presenting and being seen as an expert there, or leading teams. There's lots of great skills that can be gained by getting involved. And then it makes you more confident because, you know more people, more things. So that definitely helps to make you more confident in, in your career.
It's a CFMA webinar, but I'll just put.
Okay. All right. So let's continue on why get involved. So I also found this little sentence or 2 sentences here on volunteering. And I think this is really, really relevant to CFMA and getting involved at CFMA. You can practice some important skills and really gain some more knowledge and some more around teamwork, communication, problem solving, project planning, task management. I can't read today, and organization. And again, volunteering shows you're team oriented, which I think is a great thing, again, as you go through, your career and, at work, just learning all these other things and really being part of a big team. So this is a great quote. This is a quote from Matt Townsend. He's the CEO of OCP Contractors. He's actually the CEO of the current CFMA chairman's company. So Pam Hepburn is the CFO at this company. So this is her boss. So this, I think, is a great quote, and it really shows that if your involvement with CFMA really can go both ways. So I'll quickly read his quote. At OCP, we fully embrace our key executives being fully engaged with professional networking and educational organizations like CFMA. The amount of networking, education, and information we gain is worth far more than the time and resources we commit to being part of the association's long-term success. So over the years, many folks who've been involved with us say, they get far more out of CFMA than what they put into it. And I think this is sort of an example of that. And even at a company level where a company is realizing that. This next quote is from Jason Keene. He's been a member for 10 years now. He's been involved in a few chapters. He's been in our executive committee. He's been a presenter. He's been lots and lots of things. So I'm not going to read all of his quote. His is a little long, but if you want to, take a read through it. He really, again, talks about what you give, you get so much more back. He's, as it says in here, he's served on committees. He's written articles. He's taught webinars. So all of that stuff really does help to get you exposure get you new skills. What some of our members have even said that they aren't all that comfortable in speaking and presenting and doing those things. And sometimes you learn the most when you get outside of your comfort zone. So it gives that opportunity to do those things as well. So with that, before we start to get into the list of I will go through kind of all of the open opportunities at CFMA. I think it's really important that you find the place that's right for you. People often will ask me, as I travel around, meet our members and our chapters, they'll often ask me, what's the best place for me to get involved? And I always tell people you have to really go where your passion is. So, what I really like might not be something you really like. So it's important as we go through these, if any of these seem exciting and it's kind of where your passion is, maybe that's a good place to start. Another thing is, what skills do you hope to gain? Again, I talked about, do you want to gain presentation skills? Do you want to gain some leadership skills? Maybe be part of a committee and at some point maybe step into leadership or get involved in a subcommittee. What do you enjoy doing? That adage that you don't work a day in your life if you like what you're doing, that really is true here as well. So if one of these is really something you seem like you would enjoy, maybe that's the place for you to go. Or what are you good at? Again, maybe you're really good at proofreading and you want to be someone who gets involved with our publications committee and reviewing articles or something like that. So as we go through what there is available, just kind of keep these questions in mind and see if something sounds like something that could be exciting for you. So this is a very big list. We're going to go through all of these items and I'm going to talk a little more about what they all mean, but sort of each of the little triangles is something that's kind of a current opportunity. If you're someone who's been involved before with CFMA, or you've gone to our website and looked at the committees, this is not every committee. This is the committees where there's current openings. So we try to do this session twice a year or so and try to keep it fresh with what's currently available. Because the worst thing is you get excited to volunteer for something and then it turns out that there's not an opening there, so you have to wait. So we always focus on what the current things are that are available. So as we go through these, keep that in mind. There may be other things. These are the current things. So let's get into committees. So we're going to go through a whole bunch of committees that have space right now and are looking for some members. We'll start with the Chapter Resource Committee. The committee meets 1 hour a month. This committee is a little bit unique in the population has to be current chapter officers or past chapter presidents who currently are still involved with their board. So that way they still have a good connection to their chapter. And this committee really focuses on developing tools and resources for chapters and their leaders. So if you happen to be a current chapter officer or a past chapter president, this might be the right committee for you. Now there's the next 3 in a row are all pieces of our Diversity and Inclusion Committee. The Diversity and Inclusion Committee has a whole bunch of subcommittees. So 3 of their subcommittees are looking for members. This isn't a position for the full committee. It's a subcommittee work. So this is a little more task driven. So the first one is the D&I Research Subcommittee. The lift here is about 2 to 4 hours a month. And then you can read what they're looking for. They're looking for folks to conduct assessments to identify DE&I barriers such as recruitment, retention, advancement, business opportunities, and winning bids, to evaluate the information gathered and provide recommendations to the full committee for further action. So if this is something you think you might be interested in, this might be the place for you. Next is our D&I Content Subcommittee, and this is to design and prepare DE&I resources such as the development of webinars, courses, conference sessions, to create pre-established educational materials for chapters, as well as develop the speaker database around DE&I topics and identify authors in the area as well for building profits and various articles on the Content Hub. So if that sounds like something that might be a place for you. Next is the D&I Communications Subcommittee, also about a 2 to 4 hour per month commitment. And here they work on developing the DE&I communication plan. This group works with the content committee and developed a distribution plan for all of the content that they are developing. They're going to also assist in creating the toolkits for chapters and for members to use, and will actively be a part of the DE&I outreach on social media. So there's currently a need for some folks there. To our next committee is our Financial Survey and Benchmarker Committee. The lift here is one meeting a year, but then there's additional meetings to discuss specific needs as things arise around, around a variety of topics. This committee meets at a different time frame. So I said I do talk about committees that are currently taking folks. This one has a bit of a different year. All of the other committees work on the CFMA year, which is 4/1 to 3/31. So this committee is different. And what they're looking for here is members with an understanding of benchmarking, as well as CFMA's financial benchmarker. So this could be a place to get involved as well. The next is our Heavy Highway Committee. This committee meets 1 hour per month. It is open to all members who work in Heavy Highway, whether that be a general member or an associate member who happens to work with that segment of our membership. And the primary function of this committee is to develop content and resources for the Heavy Highway segment. The committee works on content through our Talking Heavy publication. I have a little bit of a slide on that later, and also the conference sessions in this segment. That's their main thrust of what they do. The next committee is the Membership Committee. This committee is open to all members, obviously. This is a great kind of broad committee. If you're not sure where to go, this is a nice broad committee. Meets 1 hour a month, and they review membership offerings to ensure the highest value for your membership. This group deals with kind of lots of things that come up. A lot of times, even items from our executive committee that are discussed get kicked over to the membership committee to vet out. So their work does vary from time to time, but this is a nice kind of general group if you're not sure where to go. Next is our Publications Advisory Committee. This group meets quarterly, so 1 hour per quarter, plus an additional 30 to 60 minutes per review of an article. If you have time to do that, you can volunteer to do that separately. If you don't have the time, it would just be one quarterly meeting with the whole committee. And here, this is a group who is looking for folks with a desire to contribute ideas and insights to CFMA building profits and all the content that's created there. Committee members discuss industry trends, hot topics, and review articles. A lot of the ideas of focus or of article topics come from this group. So if that's something you're interested in, there's a good opportunity there. Next is our Specialty Trade Committee. This group meets 1 hour a month, actually 1 hour every other month. That's very confusing right there. They meet every other month, and this is also similar to the Heavy Highway Committee. This is our committee of this segment, of the Specialty Trade segment. So this is open to members who work in that segment, whether they be specialty trade contractors or folks who work primarily with specialty trade contractors. And here too, the main goal of this committee is to develop content and resources, primarily around just content for our content hub and for their Talking Trades newsletter, as well as conference sessions for this segment. And then the next committee is our Suicide Prevention Committee. This meets 1 hour a month, and this is good for folks who have a passion for helping CFMA members, chapters, and companies in the suicide prevention efforts. So if you're interested in that, that is an opportunity. Now we're going to move on out of our committees and talk about course presenters. So as you all are CFMA members, we have lots and lots of courses that are a variety of length. So the lift here does vary course to course. These are the need for course presenters is based upon demand. Our CFMA courses are 2 to 8 hours, depending on the course, plus there's some prep time. So you have to factor that in as well. And when looking for presenters, we look for folks who have public speaking skills and expertise in areas relating to some of our courses, such as the basics of construction accounting, advanced cash forecasting, risk management, surety, construction contracts, revenue recognition, and taxes. We're going to talk a little bit about some opportunities in our education area. So education has several task forces that are looking for some folks to help. The Education Course Evaluation and Maintenance Task Force. The lift here varies, but it's typically 2 to 3 hours per month over a 1 to 2 month period, because it's the work of this group depends on various little things. It kind of works in little segments. So this is really good if you're someone who's interested in reviewing and updating some of CFMA's existing courses. So some examples of courses that may need updates are accounting and reporting, financial management essentials for non-financial professionals, etc. So if you are interested in getting involved with our education team and helping to share your knowledge to help develop some course content and updates in course content, that is the lift there. Next is our education microlearning task force and our current project task force. This one does vary a bit as well, but it's typically 2 to 6 hours per month, depending on team and content. And this is a little bit of a, varies by task and project. So one of the areas this group works on is developing microlearning segments. And for those of you who don't know what those are short, say 10-minute sessions that are eligible for CPE. So instead of sitting for an hour of CPE or 50 minutes to get, one CPE credit, you can earn CPE credits in fractions. And this is getting more and more popular because there's a lot more flexibility. You can easily, talk about a topic in a short little bit of time. So this group would be helping to develop these microlearning segments and content for that. This is for folks who are interested in, developing new topics and defining learning objectives and different content, can help with pilot testing and launching new courses and content and kind of those kinds of tasks. So if education is something that you might have an interest in, this is a good opportunity there. The book task force, hopefully you all know what the book is. The book is if you're a CCIP, that is the study guide for that, as well as it's a great resource for the industry. So this is a task force that takes a look at various chapters and various updates of the book. So anyone here would really, again, have some interest in reviewing, revising, and developing some content there. It's open to general or associate members. It says here, there's 30 chapters. So the goal is to identify gaps, update text, and help with the updates as needed and as you can. So this, if you're, passionate about that, that would be a really good place for you to get involved. And then we have miscellaneous education tasks. So our education department often needs folks for like one-time tasks. So some examples on here are review a module, pilot test a program to see the user experience, develop kind of chunks of content and things like that. This is typically, 1 to 4 hours per task. It's as we need. Again, these are sort of the one-time tasks in education. These are great if you don't have a ton of time or if you're not sure, how much time or how involved you want to get in education. These are nice little kind of bite-sized pieces that if you can get involved, they're really good for that. So this might be an area to begin involvement. Now we're going to talk about authors. So building profits. Obviously you all know what building profits is. The time commitment here varies because it's about article writing and tweaking and going back and forth and all that kind of good stuff. But we're always looking for folks to write articles for building profits. Often folks seem a little, scared by this process that you might have to turn in a fully completed article. That's not at all the case. If you have an idea and, our team can work with you to really transform it into an article for building profits. So if writing is something you're interested in, but you're a little unsure how to get that article in the building profits format and get it ready for publication, our team will help you do that. But if you're interested in getting into to writing, this is a great way to do that. As you all know, topics are usually focused around the theme of an issue. Each issue has its own theme. And then there's some other columns and things in there. So this might be a great way to get involved. Similar to writing for building profits, we're always looking for content specific to our heavy highway and specialty trade segments. So here too, the time commitment varies. We're always looking for articles to go on the content hub. This is a place on our website where we have our content divided out by topic. So these heavy highway and specialty trade are topics on the content hub. We do also issue newsletters quarterly that are sort of a wrap up of all of the articles that are in there. Our newsletters are called Talking Heavy and Talking Trades, each for their own segment. So if you're involved in, writing something that can be part of those newsletters and part of the content hub, this can be a great way to get involved. The Talking Heavy and Talking Trade subcommittees are both subcommittees of their respective full committees, which are heavy highway and specialty trade. There are also kinds of openings on the subcommittee level there. If you want to get, instead of not quite just write an article, but also help determine kind of future needs for articles, those subcommittees also have a need for more members. Now we're going to shift over to certification, and hopefully you all are familiar with being a CCIP. So the around certification, we are looking for folks at their local chapters to be CCIP chapter champions. There are quite a few folks, chapters that have those, not all do yet. And then we are also working on putting together a CCIP chapter champion subcommittee. And this is the group that's responsible for creating kind of the content and the resources and the materials for these CCIP chapter champions to bring back to their chapters. So the person here, hopefully who's interested, would be a CCIP or a past president or someone familiar with certification, or just even just having interest in getting involved more deeply into your chapter. And as I said, this is for creating and disseminating resources to chapter champions to promote certification at their chapters. So this is, I think, a great program. Many of your chapters may already have a CCIP chapter champion, and that's great, but this kind of helps to provide those resources that can be sent out across all of our chapters. So if anyone's interested there, that would be a great way to get involved. And of course, our local chapters. I know, many of you are members of your local chapter. I encourage you all to really get involved there. Join a committee. We don't have a list of chapter committees because they do vary by chapter, but this is a great way to get to know. There's no better way to get to know chapter members than to join a committee. You'll get to meet some other folks on that committee. You'll get to do the work of, of what that committee does and really gain some other knowledge and insights of the industry locally where you are. Again, volunteer to be a chapter board member. This is a great way to help shape the strategic direction of your chapter and be seen as a leader by others in your chapter and others in the industry in your area. Become a chapter officer. And this is a great way to become a leader in your chapter. Show that leadership, get some leadership skills. You'll learn how to lead meetings, manage a board, help make decisions and drive direction. This is, I think, a great development experience for our members and for you, and in your career and in all that you do. The leadership training here is really great. Or be a chapter speaker. If speaking is really what you're interested in, talk with your local chapter. You can, this is a great opportunity to be seen as an industry expert. So a lot of our chapters also are involved with regional conferences. So I would say if you're interested in speaking and feel like you have a topic that you can really be an expert on and you'd like to share, let your chapter leadership know. A lot of times chapters do look for speakers from among their chapter members. And so it's a great opportunity to get involved, as well as at the regional conference level. If your chapter is involved, talk with them about that, because it's another way to really share the knowledge that you know. So I know I shared a ton of information, as I said I would. As I said, when we're done, I will send you a follow-up email, and this link will be in it. So this link kind of matches what we went through and shows what all the different ways are to get involved. You can always reach out to me. I think I introduced myself properly. I'm Kathy Wasser. I'm the VP of Member Services at CFMA. I always assume everyone knows who I am, but some of you probably don't. And Mary Kalzinski works with me. She's also on our call today. So Mary, hi Mary. So Mary can also help. She manages our volunteer information here at CFMA headquarters. So again, I know that was a ton of information. Does anyone have any questions? Is there anything I can answer? I'm going to stop sharing so I can see you all.
Hi, Kathy. This is John Van Dyke. One question I have is, so you'll send out this survey. If we click on things to volunteer for in the survey, will you reach out to us then to get more specific on that? Is that how that's going to work, or is that? Yep.
So yeah, Mary, who's on the call here, is the lucky one who will take all the survey results. We'll probably leave the survey open for a week or two, and then start reaching out to folks. So if there's multiple things you're interested in, Mary may follow up and just kind of see where you might fit best, or it'll be that information will be passed along to the staff co-chairs of each committee or the staff that works with that. So we'll be back in touch. But yeah, anyone that sends anything in, we will reach out to you soon.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions? All right. Well, thank you all for joining me. My screen's not shared anymore. I was gonna say my contact information is on the screen, but it's not shared anymore. I'm going to share again real quick, just in case you want to jot down my information, in case you don't know how to contact me. If there's anything you think of in a week, in a month, in a year about volunteering or getting more involved in CFMA, and again, how CFMA can really help you and make you a writer, a speaker, a better leader. Any of those sorts of things, feel free to reach out with any questions on that stuff. So with that, we will end for today. Thank you all so much for joining me, and I hope to get to know you all a little better soon. Thank you.